Hello, my name is Camila Scaff, and today I'm going to teach you how to make a sourdough starter. But it's not a regular sourdough starter, it's actually a gluten-free sourdough starter. I use buckwheat flour and brown rice flour. Now, I like to keep these flours in a dry space, and I actually put them in a container because they're very similar. I actually write the name buckwheat flour, and then I storage like this, and the brown rice flour I storage as well. It's cheaper if you buy bulk, so I usually buy 5 kilograms at a time, and I'll just store in these containers to make it easy for use. To make a sourdough starter is very, very easy. It's best if you just get the culture from somebody else, because the older the culture is, the best it is usually. But if you haven't have a friend, or if you just killed your starter, I'm going to teach you how to make one from scratch, and you will be able to make one and maybe share with others. So it's simple. We're going to use half a cup of buckwheat flour, and we're going to put here. Some tips that are very, very important is to use a glass container or plastic, and a wooden spoon that has not been used before for anything else, and filtered or mineral water. So sometimes these cultures, they can be very specific. So we're going to put half a cup of buckwheat flour, half a cup of brown rice flour, and 1 cup of water. So basically the same amount that you use for flour, you're going to put for water. Just reminding again that the water must be mineral water or filtered. Then all you have to do is to take a wooden spoon that has not been used before and mix it. And you want to mix really well and make sure there aren't any bubbles, because that will make a difference. It has to be very homogeneous. And once it's all homogeneous with no lumps, you're going to put that away in a dry place. It doesn't have to be heated, but in a dry place at room temperature. Okay, so this is what mine is looking like now. And then we're going to cover it with cling wrap. And now we're going to keep these at a dry place, like I said, for 1 day, about 24 hours. Tomorrow, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this same recipient with what it's inside, and I'm going to feed my culture. So tomorrow I will actually do the same process, but I have to either discard half of this culture, or I need to double the amount of food that I use. So you're going to repeat this process for about 5 to 7 days until you feel like the culture is very bubbly. Once you reach to that point, you then can use your starter to make your gluten-free sourdough bread. What we're going to do is, I want to show you one culture that has already been mixed and already been there for 1 day. And that's what it's going to look like. So similar to the one we have, because 1 day will not make much of a difference. I have actually divided in half, because if I keep feeding the same culture, it will just get very big. So what I like to do every day before I feed the culture, I will divide that amount in half, and I can either give to somebody or discard that amount, or I can just double my recipe so I can have extras. Why do we discard it? Because if you're keeping a large amount of culture, you just need to constantly double feed it, otherwise you won't have enough food for the whole population that is inside here, and that way it won't grow as much. That's how, if you don't like to discard it, you can just give it to somebody or just make 2 portions. But just remember that you have to constantly feed the amount that you have, not less and not more. So because I started with half cup and half a cup, Tomorrow, if I don't discard this much, I will have to feed 1 cup of buckwheat and 1 cup of brown rice. If I decide to discard half of it or to give it to someone, then it means that I'll just feed again half a cup and a half a cup. I hope that was easy for you to learn, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. On Seeds Newcastle, there's a Facebook page at Seeds Newcastle NSW, or our web page www.seedsnewcastle.com.au. Thank you so much. I hope to see you soon.